திவ்யா எத்தனை பேர் இருக்காங்க வந்திருக்காங்க?
Hi, very good morning all and welcome to Relativity's webinar session. Thank you so much for joining with us. We are waiting for a few more people to join. I request everyone to be on mute, please. The webinar is going to start very shortly. Kindly hold on for a few minutes. Thank you. Once again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Divya. I'm the event coordinator at Relativity Management Solutions India Private Limited. I would like to invite Mrs. Geeta to talk about relativity. Mrs. Geeta is Associate Vice President heading Business Development Team over 9 years now. It's over to you, and Mrs. Geeta, ma'am.
Thank you, Divya. Very good morning to one and all who have attended. Once again, welcome to the topic, today's topic, implementation and preparation on new labor code. I know you would be eagerly waiting for the topic to get started. We are just taking 2 to 3 minutes of time to talk about relativity so that it is beneficial for others also to join the session early. See, as you all or many of the participants may know about relativity, we are in the industry for like 12 years now, and we are into payroll and taxation compliance space. We are into 4 verticals majorly, as I said, payroll, taxation, compliance, and accounting. These are our 4 verticals. As an organization, we have a mission of achieving most world-class payroll and compliance provider in the industry. We are working towards that. Our vision is to be the most renowned and respected firm in the field of HR and finance space by 2025, where we wanted to ensure unmatched quality, best-in-class support, and effectiveness beyond clients' expectation. That's what our vision is to. And we are working very hard to do that. And as you can see on the slides, these are the major services that we do: payroll processing, QETDS compliance, statutory compliance, CA and ROC compliance, tax compliance, and digital form 16. And other audits, whatever audits are there for these services, we do conduct all the audits for the companies and corporates. These are few clients we work with. We already work with 150 plus clients as of now. And these are a few enterprise clients, namely Oracle, Cisco, Royal Enfield, Texmo, Hyundai. We majorly work in all the major cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai, all major cities we work. We give services, we render our services. And go to the next slide, Ma. Yeah. See, this is our customer charter. As an organization, we develop a culture where we listen to the customer, we guide the customer in a proper way. We make it easy. When there is an issue, we try to make it easy for the customer to handle the issues. We protect the data of the customer in a very prompt manner, and we try to be very friendly, and we are very confident on the advisory or whatever solutions that we provide for the customer. This is our customer charter we follow as an organization, and we build this culture across the organization in the right from the first level, bottom level to top level. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I don't want to bore anymore. I would like to transfer the session to the next person. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to introduce today's presenter, Mr. Arun Kumar. He is leading the team of complaints at Relativity over 11 years. His experience in handling statutory complaints for more than 62 plus clients all over Pan-India. He is an enthusiastic human being and great complaints manager. He always loved to share his learnings and knowledge via learning sessions like this. It's time to start our webinar. Let's start, and over to you, Mr. Arun.
Yeah. A very good morning to everyone. Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Divya, for a wonderful introduction. I hope all are doing good. So today we are going to have an important session on the implementation and preparation of a new labor code. So earlier we had a couple of webinars related to this labor code, where we have discussed on the updates and the impacts of the new labor code. This is our, I think, this is our fourth webinar on the new labor code. So I think the implementation and preparation is the, the vital part in the new labor code, because most of you are aware of the labor code impacts and changes. What are the changes that are going to happen, and what will be the impact that will create. So when it comes to the implementation and preparation part, that will be a vital part where every organization's HR or finance person or the business owner has to put in their effort to make it align with the new labor code. So that we thought like we share our expertise here, so that you people have great learning, and you can implement the same in your organization. So that's the thought behind this webinar actually. And also we not only have these kind of webinar in these period, in these verticals, we also share our expertise in payroll compliance, taxation as well. We continuously doing these webinars over 3-4 years before itself, because we are into the field around 12 years now. So we thought we'll share our expertise to the industry that we are serving. So that's the thought behind our webinars actually. So with that, I'll just go into the agenda, today's agenda. So what you can expect today on today's webinar. So we will just have an overview of the new labor code and its journey. So we are going to look at the overview of new labor code, what and all the journey that it has passed, and we are going to discuss on the status on the labor code. That is, what are the common states have their status. That means, as you know, that labor code is not only notified by center, the state also has to notify their draft rules, and then only it will come into effect. So we are going to see the most common states current status, where they are, and we are going to check on that, and also the most critical questions and discussions. So here we are going to spend much of our time, where the implementation and preparation is basically what and all the changes and impact that the organizations that are going to implement. So what and all questions they have, and related to that response that we are going to discuss here today. So we are going to make most of our time in this part, and also we are going to touch on the offenses and penalties. So we are going to see the offenses and penalties if not adhere, complied, and also the way forward, how we are taking to forward. So these are the agenda that we are going to discuss in detail today. So before we go into the topic, we have a quick poll to understand the industry where you are from, and also to understand the basic knowledge about you participants. So with that, I'll hand over to Divya. So Divya can poll the questions. So here is the poll question. So I request each participant to quickly poll your response here. So yeah. Yeah, I think the participants are very interactive. So we are getting the response very quickly. Thanks for that. If anyone is unmute, just mute yourself. So 75% participant have given their response. We expect 100% here. Yeah. I think Divya, is the poll over?
Yes, sir, it's ended. You can start your webinar.
Yeah. So with that, we'll quickly move to our topics. So as I said, we are going to look on the overview of the new labor code and its journey. Um, so what is the objective and the journey behind the new labor code? So that we are going to discuss in detail. So this objective behind this new labor code is basically to amalgamate the existing labor acts that are prevailing in India. So as you see, the labor code amalgamated almost all the labor acts that is prevailing in India. So it is basically to ease of compliance. So the business ease of compliance is the main motive behind this amalgamation of codes. So that actually substitutes all the labor acts into four major verticals. That is code of wages, social security, code of occupational safety and health, and also higher industrial relations. So these all four codes have actually subsumed all the labor acts that is prevailing in India, so that the ease of compliance will be main objective. As you see that there are a lot of duplications in with regards to register maintenance, compliance in all these acts. Some way or the other, will duplicate the registers, maintenance, or the compliance activities. So this actually brought in the number of registers to be maintained, also number of returns to be followed. So these all actually got reduced enormously. So that will bring in the ease of compliance, and it will also attract a lot of investments from outside the country also. So this is the main motive or objective behind the labor code journey. So if you see this labor code journey, so this actually got code of wages have got notified in the month of August 2019. So in before that itself, in the 11th pay commission, they have brought in this concept of labor code, but after the rule change and in the manifesto of the present government, they have given this labor code an important role. So that's how this journey started, and they have brought in this code of wages, code of labor, social security, and IR relations and occupation safety health. So they initially have notified the code of wages, and after that the COVID situations came in place, so they are not able to implement all the codes in their respective dates. So then it got delayed, and in the month of September 2020, the rest of the three codes were notified. So in the official gazette, and we have also got the draft notes by the center. So the final rules actually notified, whereas the date of entry or into force has not been notified yet. Whereas couple of reasons behind that is one is due to second wave of COVID, and also most of the some of the states are going for the election. So these things hamper the implementation date. Also, the states have some kind of ruling. I mean, they have to bring in their own draft rules, because some of the acts requires the state ruling. So that has got delayed further. You see this draft rules by the center and notification by the center has already been passed. So we are expecting the state government, each state government has to give their own draft rules. So that is in actually progress state. So once the state government has notified the draft rules, we'll come to know about the implementation date. So that's how this labor code journey is all about. So this, when you see this draft rules by the state government, majorly they focus on the two or three aspects, codes and aspects. So there, if they implement the draft rules, it will come into effect immediately. So that's what we are also expecting. Um, so with that, we'll just have a look on the status of these draft rules on the each states, most common states. So now we are looking on the draft rules to be published by most of the states. So if you see this number of states have published the draft rules is majorly one or two states only have published their draft rules. This also have not for all the four codes. They have published either for code of wages or industrial regulations. So still the Tamil Nadu major states have not published their draft rules. Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, they also published one or two codes draft rule. So we are yet to receive the draft rule for major number of states in for implementing this code of new labor. So this with this we understand that effective date will further get delayed because this draft rule has to pass on, and also the implementation date has to be given by the each state. So this will take at least by quarter, in upcoming quarter it will take time for implementing the all the four codes. So this is the status for most common states. So now we move on to the critical and most important questions and their responses. So why we have kept the critical most important question as a discussion here means uh, we all know, most of us know that what are the changes have been in place and what is the impact that is going to create. So when it comes to the implementation or preparation part alone, we as an HR practice or as a HR person or finance person, we will have difficulties in implementing with our own industry. Like we have the workforce, we have the HR policy, we have the pay components. So these all aspects we have to understand, and then only we can implement the code. The new labor code. So that's how we wanted to discuss more on this questions, most common questions that we encountered in last couple of months with our with our implemented clients, also with the industry. So we wanted to discuss in detail on this. So with this, I'll just move on to the first questions. So most of you aware of that 1st October, there is some kind of update is expected with respect to this labor code. So as we know, like this labor code implementation has both control, like center and state has both control. So the center has already given their draft rule and notified in the official gazette, whereas most of the states have not yet come up with their own draft rules with regards to some of the acts, because once these acts were enacted only, notified only, they can able to let us know the implementation date. So I had a discussion a couple of days before. I had a discussion with the labor officers in our local city. So they are telling that still now we are not yet got any news about the labor code related notification. So maybe we might expect in the month of October, end of October, we might have an update. So that's how the labor officers are updated. So but when we talk about the official gazettes that are in place, they tell that, the news is that coming that October 1st they are going to implement this labor code, but we don't have any tentative date or an appropriate date for implementation. Still now we are expecting some updations will happen in the month of October, but not the implementation date. So that it may get delayed further because of the third wave that we may expect. Also a couple of states are undergoing the election, so it will further get delayed by the next quarter. We think that's what the update which relates to the start date. Now we'll discuss about the one. Now when it comes to the companies having multiple branch locations, which state rules will be applicable to me? I mean, as I said, there are some kind of ruling the state government has, and most of the holdings with the central government, I mean, center has with respect to all four courts. When you have multiple branches and you will have a question, so which state, whether I have to follow the central rules or I have to follow the state rules with respect to my organization. So you will have definitely have a question related to this. So I'll just quickly have an example for that. If you are having an IT company and you are having multiple branches across India. So say for example, 2, 3 locations you have presence and you are having branch offices. So you will have to still you have to follow the center's four codes universally, and also you have some kind of rulings with respect to state. The shops and establishment will continue to be in place, as well as you have to look on the minimum wages, work hours, weekly holidays, night shifts, and payment of wages. All these aspects you have to follow as per the respective state where you employ the employees. So irrespective of the branch locations, you have to follow these four codes as center, and some rulings you have to follow as per the state rules. So most of the states are coming up with the draft rules. So if you go and check on the draft rules, you will understand what are the uh, amendments that happened with earlier with the minimum wages, work hours and rest intervals, the payment of wages, night shift. So there are still more things added up here. So these have a contract with the current practice that we are having. So the company has to follow the center act for the all four codes. That is all the acts that are amalgamated in these four codes, and some state rules have been in place that they have to follow in the respective location. So if you have a manufacturing company with a sales office where you put in 5 or 3 employees, you will understand that not all acts will be applicable to them. Correct. So if you have, say for example, if you have below 10 employees, some acts will not be applicable. In that case, the center rules will come into place. You have to follow the center rule, and also the minimum wages, work hours, weekly holidays, all are common. So irrespective of the number of employees, you have to follow the state rules. So that will be applicable henceforth. So this is with regards to the companies with multiple locations. You have to follow the state rules and also the central rule. And central rule will have the major impact where you have all the codes acts to be followed. Now we have an change in the definition of wages. So if you are following up this labor code, this change in the definition of wages have great impact on all the aspects related to pay components as well as the HR policies. So the definition of wages have been standardized across all the acts that we are following, but we have still have some contradictory with the PF wages definition that has been brought in. So still a lot of clarity has to come up from PF department with regards to whether they are following the same code, I mean the definition of wages, because they have different consideration for the PF contribution, but it has been actually standardized across all the codes. So when you, I'm just giving you an example of the remunerations, all the remunerations that are in place, and also some specified exclusions. We have, say for example, HRA, commission, conveyance, and the conditional inclusion. So here, as you know, the 50% concept, like 50% will be the basic thing which we have to consider for calculating all these statutory benefits like gratuity, other things. So here, if you see the example, total put together, the remuneration is 25,000, where the specified exclusions here they mentioned as HRA commission and conveyance, it comes to around 13,000. So in this case, if you take the 50% of 25,000, it will be around 12,500. So in this specified exclusions, still you have to consider 500 more for considering as a basic wages. So we have to consider at least 50% for the total remuneration as a basic, and likewise we have to calculate the wages for the statutory calculation. So you even though you have specified exclusions, you have to consider the 50% as basic, and you have to consider for calculation of the statutory things. So this will be this will be applicable for the CTC based payroll also. So you have to consider the CTC based payroll also for this kind of calculation. So hope you all understand the calculation, and even though if you have specified exclusions, you have to consider the 50%. So I have added the 500 additional, and you have to consider 12,500 as a total remuneration for basic calculation. So this will be the impact on the change of definition of wages. So here I've given an illustration where you can see the basic pay. Here is given as 40%, whereas if you see the gratuity amount at the end, it has got changed because the calculation earlier we have put in is only the 40%, where we have considered 50% for calculation of the gratuity and other statutory benefits, statutory payments. So you can have you can relook into your pay structure and CTC value and have this restructuring in place, so that you'll not face any issues when this new labor code gets implemented. So now look at the statutory impact on statutory payments. When it comes to the statutory payments, the wage definition definitely will have a major impact. So they actually standardized the wage definition. So the coverage, if the employees under the payment of bonus or the payment of gratuity, all other aspects will have an impact definitely. So particularly with respect to gratuity, if you see, it will be applicable to the retrospective effect. Like once the implementation comes, the persons who are already applicable for the gratuity, we need to consider the current calculation of 50% of your total remuneration as a gratuity calculation. So that will impact on your PL account. Also, the requirement to pay higher gratuity impact the take home of your employees for future. So definitely you will have an impact on your take home of your employees. So you have to reconsider the take home package and explain the employees on the impact of the gratuity is going to create. Also, the mandatory requirement to cover employees from ESI. So ESI, as of now, they have not brought in this coverage limit. Like we are expecting a coverage limit to be increased from 21 to 25. That we, as far as we know, not in the implementation status of the labor code, but subsequently they are going to increase the ESI slab limit also from 21 to 25. So you will have an impact there also. A lot of employees will come into the picture of ESI. Also, the higher contribution of BF with respect to employees who are getting below 15,000. So above 15,000, you will actually satisfy the the PF consideration of 1,800. So you will not have much impact on that. Whereas if you are giving on the basic, you will have a change in the PF contribution. But with respect to employees who are contributing 15,000 below, so that definitely you will have an impact there, because the contribution currently their gross minus HRA concept we are doing that. If you doing on the basic 50%, you will have an impact there also. So another question here is with regards to the Lin and Shamsita portal. So most of you know about this Shamsita Lin. If you take the Lin, it is already in place because most of the PF and ESI logins have the Lin number allotted. So with this Lin number, most of you have got the login also. But this Lin and Shamsita portal going to play an important role in the after the implementation of this labor code. Already we are doing this labor returns one-stop filing for the labor returns through this LIN portal only. So in upcoming the labor post labor implementation, labor code implementation, this LIN and Shamsita portal going to play an important role, like PF and ESI portal. For the labor things, you will have to have a LIN login and you have to comply certain provisions here. So if you don't have any LIN or login, you just go to the LIN portal and definitely you have to register and get this login in place. And you will also start doing the returns, annual returns in the LIN portal, because all this labor code are amalgamated and they are having a track on this LIN portal only. So every end of the year, in the month of February, you definitely have to log into this LIN portal and you have to do the annual return. So you definitely have to create the LIN login and you have to follow the compliance under the LIN portal. So most of you are aware of this registration process are being integrated in the LIN portal. So the LIN has the integrated portal for PF, ESI and other labor registration. So when you are starting for any kind of registrations or you are doing any returns, you have to have this LIN portal in place and get it started for complying under the labor code. So the next questions most of us will have is any kind of registration necessary under these codes apart from the current registrations we have? Definitely not. We don't need to register separately for any of these codes separately because already it is amalgamated. The acts are amalgamated, so it is just going to be the compliance followed, not the new registration is required under any of the acts. The current registration with respect to EPFO or ESI and any other acts, they still continue to follow the same provisions. In fact, the EPFO and the ESI have their own kind of rulings because that will be the major social security contributor to India. So apart from this, there is no registrations required with respect to any of these codes as far as now. So aligning to the compensation structure. So the next 3 slides will discuss on the aligning the compensation structure, pay components, HR policies, and the workforce categorization. So these 3 things will have a major impact in your implementation process because it will impact on your compensation structure, it will impact on your HR policies, and also the workforce categorization. So how you categorize your workforce. So when it comes to compensation structure, you definitely have to consider this wage definition in place. You have to look into the wage definition, how it optimize the impact, and so that it will optimize the impact on your pay components. So determine the impact of revising the salary structure. So if you are not following the 50% basic, so just revise the salary structure accordingly so that it will not have major impact on your take home and also the retrials and the possible tax implications. So the first step in implementing process, the aligning compensation structure will be the major step. So A lot of companies have already started looking at their PF, I mean PF restructuring, like contribution restructuring. They are until if you are they are doing on the basic, they are moving to the minimum basic slab limit. Some companies are restructuring their entire salary structure. All these things are already happening. So this will optimize the impact. So other other things that are to be taken consider for the compensation structure is the gratuity. So gratuity definitely going to impact I mean, definitely going to have a financial impact. So so you just have to relook into it, and you also consider the impact, and also let know the employees that the impacts will have take home impact is take home of the employees. So definitely you have to first check on the compensation structure of the organization. So the next one is aligning the HR policies. When it comes to HR policies, most of us will have this HR policies in place for their own employees, like their joining, what will be their compensation, other stuffs. But most of the companies will not have HR policies with related to how their bonus, how their gratuity, what will be the PF wage structure. So most of the companies will have. So this impact is going to create. The wage code impact is going to create impact on the bonus, gratuity, PF. Definitely, they are going to impact. So you have to revise the HR policy according to the new wage code, aligning with the work hours. So work hours, leave policies, overtime, rest intervals. So these things you have to consider with respect to the state ruling. So ensure that the current draft is once the current draft state rules are come, you have to check on the hours of work, leave policies, also overtime policies. So these were actually drafted by the respective states. So once that is in place for your respective states, you just have to revisit your HR policies and align accordingly. And aligning the appointment letters, retrenchment policies, medical examination facilities. So these are all the areas where you have to align your HR policies with respect to the current labor code. So just revisit your HR policies and check on these aspects before you implement. The next one is the workforce categorization. So there are a lot of definitions are given with respect to the workforce, like they have brought in the definition for contract employees, fixed term employees is a new concept, gig workers, consultants, uh, workers, employees. They have brought in a lot of definitions with respect to these terms. So you have to in the when you're providing the offer letters, when you're providing the uh, uh, letters with respect to employees who are relieving, so you have to definitely mention what is their workforce categorization and according how they are treated, because that will have an impact on your compliance aspect. Because if you mention the fixed term employee, so definitely the gratuity will impact on the first day of their joining itself. So likewise, if you employee consultant, so majorly the consultants with TDS, only the TDS things to be in place, they will not have this PF deduction. So accordingly, you have to check on your the letters that you are giving to the employees with respect to each workforce categorization. So I wish you relook onto the workforce categorizations, how your respective employees are categorized and what are the terms that you are giving to them. So that will impact on the both on the compliance aspect as well the financial aspect, it will get impacted. So you have to relook on the terms that you are providing to your employees with respect to workforce. So I think these are the major questions that we wish to cover on this new labor code. Most of the companies which were in the implementation process, they have to definitely check on the workforce categorization, aligning the HR policy, compensation policy. These three things will play a major role, and also the definition of wages. They have to relook on that, so that will impact on uh, the financial aspect as well as the compliance aspect. So also, I wish to let you know that the list of acts that are amalgamated in the four major codes. So many of us know. So I just kept it in the backslide. So you can have a look into it. The code of wages have this payment of wages minimum, bonus, equal remuneration, and for social security will have this BF, ESI, maternity, and other statutory payments will come into place. The industrial relations here, the standing order will have a major impact. So workers having more than 300, so you have to compulsorily have the standing order in place. So below that, you can follow the model standing order. Occupational safety and health. So major IT companies will not come under this occupational safety and health, whereas factories and other sectors will have to follow this code. So now we are going to look on the offenses and penalties. So general compliance. So it is actually categorized as general compliance, non-compliance, second offense, non-compoundable, officer in default. So it is actually been drastically increased the offenses and penalties. Earlier it will be like 500 to 5,000 categories. So now they have drastically increased from minimum 10,000 to 1 lakh. And in the second offense, it will go up to 2 lakhs and with imprisonment. Non-compoundable failure to deposit your contribution. So earlier we'll have this default in PF or ESI. You will have the interest and penalty to be in place. So with revised new labor code, they may impact on your offense penalties, which will increase up to 1 lakh. And also the officer in default. When you're considering the who would be the primary authority in a factory or establishment. So the factory occupier will be the primary person. Also in the establishment, the ultimate control with the who is having the ultimate control with the establishment. So they will be the default officer who will be punished under this offense or penalties if they are not following. So we are going to look on the step-by-step process. As we discussed, we have to review the current practice which we currently have. What are the labor acts that we are currently following with respect to each of your industry? We have to review that, and we have to analyze the new labor code. As we discussed in our earlier webinars, we have to analyze what are all the things that we have to take in consideration for the new labor code, and we have to align with the current practice that, as we discussed now, we have to align the three things: HR policy, compensation structure, and workforce categorization. So these three aspects you have to align, and you have to get it implemented. So after that, you can have an audit also, so that you adhere all the compliance aspects with related to new labor code. So when you are in the aligning stage, you will have to consider the definitions definitely, because the definitions have a major impact, and you have to look each and every definitions that are given or amended in the all the acts that you are currently following. So that will create a major difference in the new labor code with respect to the old the current practice that we are following. So that will that's all with regards to the topics that we are discussing today. So before we go into the question and answers, Divya, can you pose the questions, poll questions? So this is our second poll question. So we would like to hear your feedback, and also some of your informations will be absolutely necessary for us to improvise in future webinars.
Arun, this is Ajay from Ahmedabad.
Yeah, Mr. Ajay, just to hold on, just we are having this poll questions, and yeah.
Now, my question is regarding this overtime. Like our practices, overtime is paid in following months, not along with the current month's salary. Because we have certain practices like that to give the compensatory off if it is full shift work or like so that. So it is practically not possible to pay overtime along with the salary. In that case, now overtime shall it be applicable for the provident fund?
I mean, is there part of your compensation? I mean, the offer letter that you provided, sir?
Sorry?
Is it part of your offer letter?
No, overtime is paid separately, right? Is based on requirement. Employee has been asked to overstay for that, and these are being paid. But these are being paid separately in following months, not along with the salary. So whether provident fund will adopt this overtime or not.
So provident fund will not have an impact on that. But when it considered, it is being provided over the period of time. Okay, so if it is provided one time, you are having all the time. You are having the overtime. I mean, over a period of time, or you will have a seasonal overtime.
No, it's a regular. We are basically continuous process industries. We run 24/7, 365 days. No holidays, whether Diwali or any festivals or national holidays, because being a continuous process. Right. So if the next person is not there, we ask to the existing person to continue the job.
Okay.
So that way overtime is going on.
I mean, with respect to all the employees, or only few?
Yes, all employees. Mainly the workmen, because in office staff it doesn't make much more difference for that. Unless extreme necessary, then only the office staff is being asked to overstay.
Okay, so then I think in that part you have to
like
consider. You have to consider that.
So PF would be attracted
Yes,
to
yes.
overtime amount also.
Yes, yes.
Now then, how to get a deposit for that? Because paying in the following months only post the PF for deposit. See, now the current one is the September, right? So September salary
So
will
once you disperse the salary, you will not pay along with that, or
the overtime is not paid along with the salary.
Okay, okay. So we'll take that, sir. We'll take that privately. So we'll discuss on that. You can post that question, so we'll definitely come back on that question. You just post that in the chat box.
You post them for the October.
You post that in the question chat box. We'll come back to that question.
Okay.
Hello, Arun.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Arun, right? Hello.
Yeah, your voice is not audible, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Arun. This is Kiran from
Yeah.
calling from Bangalore.
Yeah.
So regarding that, I have one query.
Yeah.
So regarding statutory bonus, can we able to pay on a quarterly basis?
Yeah, some companies are actually following a monthly basis. Also, they are calculating the bonus and they are paying that, but it is not the actual case. But we can still, I mean, they are accepting. The officers are accepting for the quarterly bonus also. They are.
I'm talking about a statutory bonus.
Sorry.
Statutory bonus.
Yeah, that's what, sir.
Hello,
Sir?
I'm speaking about the statutory bonus. Can we pay statutory bonus on a quarterly basis?
Quarterly basis, some companies are following that, sir. It is not a bad practice, so you can do that also. I mean, quarterly also you can pay it, but the best practice is you pay on that yearly bonus. I mean, the statutory as an yearly bonus. That is the best practice.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll just take up the questions from the chat box. So from Shrisha, the labor codes unlikely to be implemented this fiscal. Yes, I think this fiscal, I think they are not going to implement. And one question, so Sirish. So we'll just come back to you, Sirish, on WhatsApp to take your question.
Yeah, I have just one question, Ganesh. Can I ask now? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, thing is that in new labor code, there is some any restriction about the labors. Means earlier the labor registration 10 to 15 is compulsory, but after the words in new labor code, might be there is the limit is 300 up to 300 or something.
No, that is with respect to the standing order, sir. What you mentioning. With respect to workers having more than 300, you definitely have your own standing order in place.
Okay.
With respect to workers below 300, you can still follow the model standing order.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the labor registration primarily will be the local states registration, that is shops and establishment registration, will continue to follow. The rest of the registration with respect to PFI, ESI will continue to be followed in the same manner.
Okay, and afterward, one another question is there. In gratuity calculation, earlier we consider the basic plus DA and the last preceding 12 months salary, 10 months salary, and calculation was 4.8% on the basic plus DA. So now the percentage you say that the 50%. So how we will calculate that? Is considered for basic plus DA or excluding the HRA and the conveyance allowance all component is to be considered?
Basic plus DA will be the primary factors.
Basic plus DA. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So some companies don't have this DA concept, but basic plus DA will be the primary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, Arun,
And
Arun,
can
I'm
you share this
continuing the
PPT
following question.
on my mail ID?
Sure. We'll definitely share the PPT.
Yeah, Arun, I'm
Okay.
coming back to the last questions on gratuity one. So does it mean that 50% wages for the PF applicable is for the wage point of view? So other way, it is not going to impact on bonus or gratuity because it's purely basic in wage, which is required to be maintained at for the minimum wage or floor wage, whichever is the higher one. But for
Yeah,
PF point,
correct.
only the 50% of the wages you have to consider. So that way, it's not going to be much more impacted on bonus as well as the gratuity. Is it my understanding is clear?
Yeah, your understanding is clear, sir. See, this PF and ASI, they have their own ruling. So we are unlikely like the PF, if they are going to.
Hey, Arun, sorry, can I take up that question? Hi everyone. My name is Akash. I'm the director at Relativity, and Ajay, right? Who's asking the question?
Yeah,
Ajay Kothari. Yeah, Mr. Ajay Kothari, your question is very interesting. So let me take that. First part of your question is regarding OT. Should we be paying provident fund on OT? And since the nature of your industry is a continuous process industry, you will not be paying OT on a consistent basis to all employees. Am I correct? There are few employees for whom you may pay OT at the rate of 4 hours because they have only worked for 4 hours. For some employees, they would have worked only for 5 hours. So you will pay OT only for those number of hours that particular employee would have worked. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
So if that is the case, there will not be provident fund applicability on OT because OT is not a part of your wages that you are promising to the employee. It is an additional earning that the employee has because he is doing something more than the minimum activity that is required to perform his roles and responsibilities.
Right,
So
but looking to
on,
the nature of, sorry, interrupting, but looking to the nature of work, so majority's employees are getting, yes, hours will be the vary every month, but on need basis, they might have to stay for that. If X is not come today, the Y will get the overtime, and 3 days after Y is not coming, so X will get the overtime, like so that need
that is
basis.
absolutely fine as long as you have proper records that if you are paying 100 rupees to somebody as OT, for example, you have proper records that this is how the OT is calculated. It is a variable component. It is not a fixed component. Am I correct?
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So when it comes as a variable component and you have paperwork for calculating OT, the provident fund will not be applicable on it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
No,
The
I have
second
a
part of your sorry,
Yeah.
I'll just finish off. The second part of your question was regarding, the basic plus DA. I mean, what is the gratuity calculation, right? In the new labor code.
Yeah, mainly the
Was
PF
that your
possible
question?
50% is the condition, not for the bonus and gratuity. That just need
So,
clarification.
yeah, so as far as provident fund is concerned, there are two things, right? If you are restricting your provident fund to 1,800 rupees, that is 12% of the PF wage, minimum PF wage of 15,000 rupees, then you anyway have to pay 1,800. There is no change that is going to be there. But let us say if companies, there are a lot of companies which pay on 12%. The PF calculation is 12% on basic. So when the new labor code comes into force, the basic itself, we cannot have as 20% of the gross salary, 30% of gross salary, or 40% of gross salary. The new labor code very clearly mentions that the wage, the definition of wage cannot be your basic plus DA, whatever you want to choose, but it will be as per one of the slides that was shown by Arun a couple of minutes ago. So it will impact your provident fund. It will impact your gratuity. Anything that is any component or any statutory outflow which is based on basic plus DA will be impacted, whether or not you increase your basic. So the act very clearly says even if your basic is 30%, we will recalculate it and we will show that it is going to be this much. And whether that 15,000 limit is going to get increased or not is subject to the changes in the Provident Fund Act. The Labor Code has nothing to do with that 15,000 limit. Sorry, there was another question some gentle lady was asking.
So I was asking with this new mode of working, right? Majorly all the IT sector with this work from home concept, like how do we define the shift allowance? It's become like, we sit on work from morning to night and we are not able to differentiate that. And is there an implication on the paying the shift allowance there?
Yeah, so here is where your organization's HR policies will make a big impact, right? Your question is very interesting because that is a hybrid work environment is where we are moving towards in the future. We may not have a completely work from home, or we may not have a completely work from office environment. We may have a hybrid work environment, and there what you rightly said about shift allowance, about who is working at what shift and all comes. So this is where the HR policies of your organization make a very, very big impact, right? So it is necessary for you to be ultra clear in your HR policies. Okay, how is shift allowance calculated? Who will deserve shift allowance? When will it be paid out? But again, as with the other component, shift allowance is again a conditional allowance. It is not a fixed allowance. You are not going to pay it on a fixed basis. But if you do mention it as a fixed component on your offer letter, then that is subject to the new labor code, and it will get added to the the 50% calculations. Did I answer your question, Shrisha?
Yeah, to some extent. Yeah, I think it's more to do with the company policies, I believe.
Yes. So have ultra clear company policies about who is eligible, when will it be paid out, how much will be paid out. Right now, what we do, Shrisha, is to make, not you or not me, but generally what the industry does is to make the remuneration very attractive. They include shift allowance in the offer letter as well. Many times it happens. The day we start including shift allowance on our offer letter, it means that we are promising that, and it becomes a fixed component. It is not going to be a variable one until and unless we have a policy to that effect.
I have another question with reference to the variable, the VPF part of it. Like, there's a tax implication that's coming up, right? Like, if you're crossing 2.5 lakhs in a year on the employee VPF contribution. Can you show some light on it? It's a little bit confusing, even after reading a lot of articles on it.
Are you talking about the 2.5 lakhs? If the employer contributes more than 2.5 lakhs, the taxability part, am I correct?
Yeah, say for example, if I choose to put in extra, extra amount into my PF, apart from what employee and employer, the statutory, whatever is required, apart from that, I contribute like variable, my preference to save some amount. So what's the clause on that the tax authorities are right now talking?
So Shrisha, there are, I would love to take that question. So just on a very high scale, the 2.5 lakh limit is not for the employee's contribution; it is for the employer's contribution. And it is not limit per se. What the act says is, if the employer contributes more than 2.5 lakhs, then whatever earnings that gets generated out of it will be taxable in terms of the interest. And then there is another limit where we talk about all the benefits crossing 7.5 lakhs. So it's a little bit complicated, not as easy. I can explain it in a minute or so. But Shrisha, why don't you leave your coordinates, or we'll reach out to you separately, and we'll definitely even share an article that we have written about it in detail. So that will be helpful to you, I'm sure. Let me take a few code-related questions,
sure,
if you don't mind.
Hello, sir. I have one question.
Hey, Shirish, there are a couple of questions on the chat. I'm just going to take 2-3, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
PF
fine,
considers PF. Okay. Once the code of wages is implemented, do we need to pay gratuity to employees for any number of years of service, irrespective of completing 5 years of mandated service? So, Nithil, this is where your categorization of employees matter. So, if you are going to categorize your workforce categorization, right? There was a slide about workforce categorization. So, if you are going to categorize them as normal employees, then the applicability of gratuity as on the new labor code is still after 5 years. But let us say while you are taking in an employee, you are actually telling them that you will be with us only for 3 years or only for 4 years. So that is called as fixed term employee. So when you are taking up an employee on a fixed term basis, then the gratuity, the number of years for gratuity is the number of years that you're offering them the fixed term employment. That 5-year period does not count.
So it will be applicable from day one.
Yeah. Next is earlier gratuity was.
In that case, if the fixed term employment that the person has served 3.5 years, in that case, even also the 6-month criteria to consider full year to be considered or not, or actual
yes. There is no change in the calculation of gratuity. The change is only merely in when the gratuity starts.
Okay, thank you.
Earlier gratuity will be calculated on completion of 5 years. Is there any update regarding employee? Okay, I think we already spoke this. It might depend on statewide wage code, I guess. No, Shrisha, gratuity, as far as gratuity is concerned, it is a central jurisdiction. How to handle employee who is requesting permanent work from home? So Chandradeep, I believe that there is no law which prohibits you from giving permanent work from home. Neither there is any law which prohibits you from asking for permanent work from office. It is purely a business requirement. Your company has to decide it. Okay. Can I also get the article you mentioned about PF and additional contribution? Yes, Sarup, just leave your coordinates on the chat. My team will send it to you. Shall we follow only model standing order or required to register standing order? So yeah, that's an interesting question, Pankaj. As of now, there are certain industries in certain states that are exempted from getting their standing orders approved from their local state labor office. So for example, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Haryana, NCR, all of these states have announced that for certain industries like IT and ITES, and if the number of employees are less than a certain threshold, there are no standing order requirements specifically. You can just follow the model standing orders. So now when we when we wait for the states to come out with the revised labor codes, there is where they are going to say which are the states for, which are the industries for which model standing orders will be applicable and what is the minimum employee threshold. So that is subject to clarity from the states. Please address the issue of food coupon during work from home. The law states that it is only for employees who are working from office. Radhika, you're absolutely right. Food coupon is for those situations where we are working from office, but that comes under the Income Tax Act 1961 and under the relevant Finance Act, right? So that's another day discussion, but I do agree with you. Are we going to be penalized because we are still giving food food coupon right now during the COVID condition? No, but once all this settles down, and then when we start a hybrid environment, typically food coupon should not be given for those days when the employee is working from home. Bindu Verma from YouTube. Is it compulsory to show statutory bonus for employees who are above minimum wages? Means in payslip. What is it compulsory to show statutory bonus for employees who are above minimum wages? Means in payslip. Yes. See, statutory bonus has nothing to do with minimum wages. Who is eligible for statutory bonus or not is a number which is specified in the Payment of Statutory Bonus Act. And whoever is below that number, we will have to have a component called statutory bonus, and we have to show it on the payslip because that is the only proof that you are giving statutory bonus to them. Swaroop Chand, okay. Article about PF and additional contribution, okay. Does occupational safety code apply to educational institutions? So Rashmi, yes, occupational safety code does not only apply to factories or manufacturing locations, no. But will everything of the occupational safety code apply to all the companies? I don't think so. What is applicable to us will only be applicable to us. Like, for example, the OSH, Occupational Safety and Hazard Code, will talk about workplace. So whether it is an IT company, whether it is a manufacturing company, or whether it is an educational institution or a college, workplace is a workplace, and what we need to comply for those workplaces, we'll have to comply. Regardless of what industry we are in. Okay, I believe all the questions have been answered. If there is anything pending, we'll take one last minute. As per new wage code, 50% of basic or gross salary or CT. CTC, okay, Pankaj. So the new wage code is very clear. It says that whatever your basic plus DA is, Arun, can you please navigate to the slide where you have mentioned about specified exclusions and all? Yeah, so just go back to that slide. So this slide is very important. You will all receive the slides anyway. this is how the wage is going to be calculated. Earlier, please remember, earlier the wage was equal to basic plus DA. Now the wage is not equal to basic plus DA, is equal to this formula. All remuneration minus specified exclusions plus conditional or inclusions or benefits in kind. So this is how the whole, wage definition has changed, right? So it is going to be with that, with reference to this definition, Pankaj. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Do you have any comparison table of old and new wage code? I mean, there are tons of comparisons out there. Even before, in a couple of our previous webinars, we did discuss it. You'll have a lot of information on our blog.relativity.co.in.
Yeah, we'll share that links.
Yeah, Shirish. So we have our YouTube channel also. So if you guys are interested, you're most welcome to join our YouTube channel, subscribe, and get to learn a lot of good stuff for HR and finance people out there. Arun, back to you. I think I stole your Q&A session.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a last question. Shall I ask you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thing is that in new labor code the gratuity tenure, the yearly base, or it's remaining same as the 4.8 years applicability gratuity.
Sir, so for a normal employee, it is the same.
Okay.
Okay, but if you are appointing a fixed term employee, whose tenure is going to be less than 5 years, for them you still have to pay gratuity.
Okay. Fine.
You understand, earlier there was no fixed term employee concept at all. Now,
Correct.
in the new labor code, what they say is, even if you hire an employee for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, you have to pay gratuity for them.
Okay, means in retainer also.
In retainer also, absolutely, yes. If they are your retainer employees, you still have to pay gratuity for them.
Okay.
But if you are considering them as consultants, right, you are deducting 10% under 194J or H, whatever is the relevant TDS. So then that they are not your employees.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
sir. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Guys, to all of you who have stuck on, thank you very much for your questions and all of your attention. Arun, I don't know, should I give it back to you or to Divya, please?
Yeah, I think we are done with the webinar PPT. So here is our YouTube channel's link, and you can log on to this YouTube channels, and you can have a look into our the various topics that we have discussed. So also, as I told earlier, we have already done a PPT on this new labor code. So we'll share the link in the chat box, so you can have a look into the basic concepts of the new labor code and also what are the impacts and changes, so that you can refer here. So I think back to Divya. Divya, you can conclude.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll share the PPT. Also, we'll what are the, if any chat questions are unanswered, we'll let you know over the emails. So thank you once again, everyone. Thanks for participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.